My name is Brian, and this is TANDEMKROSS. Today we are going to show you how to tune your Ruger MKIII and 2245 magazines for optimum performance. The 2245 and Mark III magazines are simple and effective, consisting of 6 parts, 4 of which can be tuned for better performance. The 4 parts that we're going to tune in this video consist of the magazine body, the block retaining plunger, the follower, and the follower button. There's a multitude of tools and methods used to tune the Ruger Mark III and 2245 magazines, and I'm going to show you what we're going to be using here today. First up is the rotary tool. We're going to be using grinding stones and felt wheels for polishing. Next we have a set of needle files. These can be used instead of and in addition to the rotary tool. We will also be using varying grades of wet or dry sandpaper. For this project I've got 4, 6, and 1200 grit. And finally your choice of metal polish and some sort of bluing agent. To begin the tuning process, we're going to take an empty magazine and disassemble it into its components. I've got a small tool here. I'm going to insert it into the hole, into the base of the magazine, and push on the plunger. Now I can push the base forward. Be careful of taking the magazine base off as the plunger is under spring tension. Now I can remove the spring and the plunger. There's a cutout down here for the follower button. And here's the follower. I'm going to start off with the magazine body and using the rotary tool or needle file set. I'm going to take this sharp corner and round it off on both sides. Rounding off these 2 corners will reduce the amount of stovepipe malfunctions and require less energy from the bolt to remove a round from the magazine. Now that we have these 2 corners rounded off, we can begin deburring. I've got some 400 grit sandpaper folded over a needle file, and I'm just going to go over all the edges. The goal is not to remove any metal, but remove any burrs that you may feel in there. Now that we have the top of the magazine deburred, next comes a racetrack for the follower button. We're going to make sure to only deburr the left side, the side the follower button rides in, and to not sharpen the racetrack, increasing the amount of friction and reducing the performance. Now that we've deburred the magazine body as well as the plunger, it's time to polish the surfaces. We're going to be doing the racetrack, the feed lips, the edges, and the walls of the plunger. Moving on to the follower button, we actually have it chucked directly into the rotary tool. Now we can take a section of sandpaper that's folded in half and polish this channel that rides in the racetrack. Last up is the follower. All we're going to do here is take a piece of sandpaper and remove all the flashing. There's some right here. Got a little on the back side, and a little seam going down the front. Before we begin reassembly of the magazine with the newly tuned components, we're going to clean each piece thoroughly. The dirtiest one is going to be the inside of the magazine body. There will be a lot of debris from the process. Once everything gets cleaned, I'm going to blue the exposed metal surfaces on the magazine body, the racetrack, and the feed lips. For the plunger and the follower button, I'll just be applying a thin coat of gun oil. Now that is buttery smooth. This modification will serve avid shooters as well as competitive shooters the same. There's a night and day difference between a tuned magazine and a factory one. The thumb button in the racetrack is smooth as glass. There are no sharp edges on the feed lips, and everything's got a nice, smooth surface. This will ensure proper feeding and reduce the amount of stovepipe malfunctions. My name is Brian, and this is TANDEMKROSS.